I stumbled upon something deeply unsettling during my exploration. Deep inside the cave, a figure stood completely motionless, as if frozen in time. I shouted a hello, yet they remained perfectly still. I tried to get my dog to follow me, but he was terrified and refused to budge. I had no choice but to proceed by myself. I cautiously made my way further into the cavern. After taking only a few steps, a strange energy barrier stopped me in my tracks. I extended my hand to feel it. The atmosphere around me hardened into what felt like an invisible wall of dense air. Pushing forward became incredibly difficult, but my need for answers drove me on. I swallowed my fear and forced myself to keep moving. As I ventured deeper, a terrifying detail caught my eye. My curiosity only grew stronger. Once I finally broke through the invisible barrier, the frozen figure ahead suddenly began moving normally. I noticed a gun holstered at their waist, making them look highly suspicious. As I debated whether to follow them, a bizarre phenomenon occurred behind me. The light at the cave entrance began rapidly flickering between day and night. Then, horrifying screams rang out from the deepest parts of the cavern. I sprinted frantically back toward the exit. It had been midday when I first walked in. I had only been underground for about 3 minutes, yet when I emerged, the sky was completely pitch black. My dog was nowhere to be found. In absolute disbelief, I rushed over to my vehicle. I found my car entirely swallowed by overgrown weeds and thick vines. I attempted to start the engine to escape, but the battery was completely dead. That was when my eyes fell on my work photograph. The picture was heavily oxidized and yellowed, as if several years had gone by. I stepped out to look around for any kind of explanation. Not far away, I noticed an SUV parked in the area. I planned to salvage its battery for my own vehicle, but I quickly saw that this car was also buried under heavy overgrowth. I knew for a fact that this SUV had not been here when I originally parked. A bag sitting inside the vehicle immediately grabbed my attention. The gravity of the situation suddenly hit me. I realized that my students must have come searching for me after I disappeared. It seemed obvious that they had ventured into the cave as well. Knowing they were in danger, I turned around and headed back toward the entrance. This time, I brought a bundle of glow sticks, tossing them along my path to mark the route back out. However, as I neared the invisible barrier, the glow sticks began to float strangely in midair. I reached out to snatch one back. The glowing tube drifted away from my hand. It only dropped to the ground after it crossed through the dense wall of air. The entrance behind me started flashing rapidly once more, but I refused to retreat. I marched straight ahead into the dark depths of the cave.